participants. אז רק שנייה, בואו נראה. יניב, אתה יכול להסתכל רגע? רגע, נפתחת לי הרשימה. אילנה, איילת, בטי, כרמית, שריל סמית. Well, guys, you will have to talk in English. דוד אדר, דתלינה, כן, חבר'ה, אנחנו מדברים באנגלית. אוקיי. אוקיי? We have 2 or 3 participants that are not Hebrew speakers, so we'll all talk English. Okay. So maybe I will start minutes before. This way I can give you more time. We split the 1 minute to all 3 of you. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Irit. I'm from the Vidya Lin College in Jerusalem. I'm very glad that we meet despite the circumstances. And we are going to hear today 3 presentation. Interesting, because I read all the abstracts. And then we shall ask questions, as Tzipora explained, 10 minutes each. And if you have question, you can write it in the chat or after the presentation. So we'll start with Sarah Lekliman, who is going to present a very interesting research about the self-portrait of academic and poetic writers, and she will explain where do we come from. So, Sarah, take the lead. Okay, enjoy. Yeah.
Somebody wrote that Hebrew is okay, so can we speak Hebrew or?
All of them are, there are few guests that...
somebody wrote that Hebrew is okay with him. I don't know who is he.
I need English, as I thought, yeah, of course.
So, English or Hebrew?
English, English. There are few participants that speak English.
Okay, so as we know, writing is a complex integrated activity that serves as a skill for those who are involved with academia. The process of writing possesses a heavy weight on writers, mentally, intellectually, and emotionally. That is why so many writers sometimes feel that they are blocked. When we say block or writer's block, we mean a complete shutdown. The writer stops writing or stops producing anything that seems worth publishing. Sometimes we stop even before we start. So, and there are many reasons for writer's block. Sometimes it's lack of motivation, fear from criticism, stress, and so on. You can see other reasons. And Dr. Irit Askel and myself are leading a writing program in the School of Professional Development in Mofet Institute. And there we meet writers, academic and poetic. And every week we meet their blocks. And that's why we decided to investigate that phenomenon of writer's block. And we asked, how do writers in different genres experience the writing process? And what is the nature of the writing blocks in the different genres? We interviewed 10 people who are engaged strongly with writing, and the interview were recorded and transcribed, and we analyzed them in order to come up to a kind of model or to understand the phenomenon. And then we, we designed a kind of model dealing with the writing process, starting with the pre-writing, the writing itself, and the post-writing. When we asked them about the stage of pre-writing, we asked them about the drive to write and the activities that they are doing for preparation. And about the drive to write, for example, one of them said, writing has saved me. As a young girl, I always used to write. It has been some kind of salvation for me. And she spoke about the need to write. Others feel the need to say something to the world, to a kind of audience, although the audience is different from time to time and from writer to writer. Somebody told us that in poetic writing, the motive is more intrinsic. In a research report, it's more extrinsic. Some spoke about the curiosity and personal interest. And there are few cases when they spoke about the obligation to write and to publish in order to stay in the academia. And one of them said, it comes out of an obligation. This is too difficult task, which you would never do voluntarily. We asked them about the activities that they are doing for preparation, but we have no time for it now, so we continue. And about the writing itself, we asked about what they feel when they write. And you can see that it's moved from pleasure to nightmare. I'm looking for an example what they said, never mind, we have no time for it, but some of them loved it so much, and for some of them it was nightmare. We asked what they are doing, what kind of activities they are doing when they are writing. We have no time for it, but I'll come back to it later on when I speak about the blogs. Then we arrive to the stage of post-writing. Once the article or the story is written and the stage of submission is, and they have to give the paper to a judge, their reaction for to the comments that they are getting are different. And we saw that there are some of them that feel their self-criticism is very hard. And some of them refer to the external criticism. They were disappointed, they spoke about anger, and some of them were satisfied with the comments that they got. And it was interesting to hear what they are doing after they get the comments. There are some that complete the mission and take a different direction, for example. And some of them leave and give up. When we spoke about the blogs, we saw that there are many reasons for the blogs. And for example, one of them wrote, said, I'm not a person whose job is to write. When I'm writing, it is in the middle of the night. There were moments in which I getting and getting at the page as if you are not there, and nothing gets settled. There is such a blackout in your head. They spoke about the external blogs and internal blogs. And for example, about the external blogs, one of them said, if the kitchen is dirty, the house is dirty, the sink is full, there is noise in the house, it gets in my way and I cannot write, and so on. So we saw many reasons why they arrive to the point when they stop writing and they feel that they are blocked. And their way to cope with it were different. Some of them, but not many, are going to ask some friends or kind of consulting. Others were trying to change the direction. And as I said before, there are some that gave up and or leave it for a while and then come back to it in different moods. We have no time. I know Irit is very strict with the clock, so I'll come to
You have 2.5 minutes left.
Okay, so we were trying to draw a kind of profile of the writers, and we used the metaphor that we took for a children's book named Fence, Sheep, and a Man with Problem by Yael Biran. And with that metaphor, we were trying to draw the profile of the writer and the way they deal with the block. And then we saw that there are some that are satisfied. And there are the obsessives that are going with the head in the wall. We saw that there are some that dig deeper and deeper, but not always find the treasure. We found that some of them are committed and they are ready to give up some of their self, but to do the mission of writing. There are some that hesitate and think, and then they don't move because they are calculating their way. And there are some that give up. And in the program that we lead at the Mofet Institute, we have to find a way to each one of them and to learn how to work with them and how to guide them and to push them to write and to publish. Thank you.
Very good. Just before time. Very
before
good.
time, so
Okay. So if you have questions, please write it down. We shall leave minutes later.
עירית, אתה על מיוט. עירית, אתה על מיוט.
עירית, לא שומעים אותך.
Sorry. So I was saying that we are going to hear now Betty Schreiber and Ilana Shmaya Friedman from Kibbutzim College of Education and from the Technology and Art Tel Aviv, Israel. They are going to talk about using digital notebooks to promote writing organization of at-risk adolescents. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going. Okay, first of all, I would like to apologize for all the English speakers. My presentation is in Hebrew. I prepared to speak in Hebrew, so I would be happy to send it in English afterwards if someone would like to do it. But so it's going to be semi-English and semi-Hebrew. Okay, Betty will help me, of course. Okay, so my name is Ilana. I'm an English teacher in Mabar and Ometz classes in the high school. And I'm going to speak about using digital notebook, the application of the clock, in order to improve executive functions and organization of learning with a teenage with ADHD.
אילנה, תגדילי את זה למסך מלא.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm going to switch into Hebrew. ברגע שהתבקשתי לכתוב עבודת גמר במסגרת הקורס קידום תפקודים ניהוליים בשילוב טכנולוגיות סיוע, ישר חשבתי על יולי, שהיא תלמידה שלי מזה 3 שנים. מבחינתי זאת הייתה הזדמנות לחקור, לנסות ולהבין יותר לעומק את הקשיים של יולי. למה דווקא יולי? כי יולי היא תלמידה שמאובחנת עם ADHD, יש לה המון קשיים, ויש לה מוטיבציה נמוכה, היא בכלל לא מבינה למה היא צריכה להגיע לבית ספר, היא חווה המון כישלונות. היא בעצמה מעידה שהיא אף פעם לא זוכרת את החומר ולא מסוגלת לעשות 2 דברים בבת אחת, גם להקשיב וגם לכתוב. דבר שמאוד מקשה עליה לכתוב הערות תוך כדי השיעור. היא נוסחת מאוד בקלות, ומאוד קשה לה להתרכז לאורך זמן, וכשיש משימה או עבודה, אין לה מושג בכלל איך להתחיל. אוקיי? מטרת המיזם שלי הייתה בעצם לבנות תוכנית עבודה, לקדם את התפקודים של התכנון וארגון הלמידה שלה, ואצל תלמידה שהיא מאובחנת עם ADHD, במסגרת תוכנית אומץ, ולומדת במסגרת תוכנית אומץ למניעת נשירה. שאלת המיזם שהובילה אותי הייתה כיצד יכולה הטכנולוגיה המסייעת לתרום לאימון, לשיפור וקידום התפקודים הניהוליים, בדגש על זיכרון עבודה, תכנון והתחול אצל ילדים עם ADHD. אוקיי, הרציונל בעצם...
Ilana, please, let's say something in English for you about Yoli and about the aim of this project, because it's a project, it's not a research. It's very important to say that it's a project, and it's about Yoli, which is an ADHD student. She's studying in the, I think, Yudbet, yes. So Ilana planned for her spatial planning program, and now she will present the rationale of this program, and she will say every time she will switch one sentence in English for the English speaker. I'm sorry.
Okay, as
but please remember that you have only 10 minutes.
Yeah, we know that.
And now 6 and...
אוקיי, מה שהוביל אותי בבניית התוכנית להתערבות היו מספר דברים. דבר ראשון, תוכנית התערבות מאפשרת הקניית מיומנויות בצורה מדורגת. היא מספקת חוויית למידה שונה וחיובית שמתבססת על החוזקות של התלמיד. תוכנית כזאת מאפשרת להקנות מיומנויות ובעצם הופכת את התלמיד ללומד עצמאי, שלא תלוי באחרים, והיא מאפשרת להתאים כלים זמינים לעקיפת קושי, אימון וטיפול בקשיים תפקודיים. כל המיזם בעצם מתבסס על יולי, שבעצם חקרתי בחקר מקרה, ואספתי על הנתונים באמצעות ראיון אישי חצי מובנה, שראיינתי את המורים ואותה, צפיתי בה בשיעור ומילאתי שאלון בריף למורה שעוסק בתפקודים ניהוליים, שבודק תפקודים ניהוליים.
So I will switch to English. There's a case study about Yoli, and we will collect the data. The data included a personal interview, brief test. It's about executive functions test, self-report test, and observation some of observations study.
אוקיי, בעקבות הנתונים עלו מספר ממצאים. ראינו שליולי יש קושי בפונקציה של זיכרון עבודה וקשב, זאת אומרת קושי לאבד מידע ולזכור אותו לטווח ארוך. יש לה קושי בביצוע 2 פעולות במקביל. עלו גם קשיים...
Just a moment, Yoli have difficulties in working memory and in attention and in time management.
אוקיי, קשיים נוספים עלו בתפקודי התכנון והארגון, זאת אומרת שקשה לה לנהל זמן וקשה לה לתעדף משימות. עלה גם קושי בפונקציית ההתחול, משמע שקשה לה להתחיל ולסיים משימה וקשה לה להתמיד במשימות.
One of the difficulties from students with ADHD are to initiate this action. They want to initiate their action, they want to initiate their writing or reading, but they cannot do that. And this is one of the executive functions that Yoli has difficulties with.
אוקיי, בעקבות הממצאים בניתי תוכנית התערבות אישית שכללה 6 מפגשים של 45 דקות. הייחוד של התוכנית היא בעצם שהיא מבוססת על החוזקות שלה ולא רק על הקשיים שלה. מההיכרות שלי אני ידעתי שהיא חשוב לה מאוד ארגון הסביבה, והיא זקוקה לגורם חיצוני שיניע אותה לפעולה, בין אם זה מורה או כרטיס ניווט, ולכן לקחתי את Evernote. Evernote היא בעצם אפליקציה שהיא בעצם מחברת דיגיטלית. היא מציעה המון דברים בסביבה אחת. ושום הערות...
Just switch to English, please, Ilana.
Sorry.
Do you want to say about it?
Okay, I chose an application, okay, which is a digital notebook that you can write notes, you can use speech to text, you can record, you can upload and take photos and scan things.
Documents.
Documents. You also have the opportunity to make alarms in order to remind yourself to do something, and you also have already made Evernote templates, which also you can use. Okay, let me give Yoli a schedule and like to organize a map road in order to achieve her goals and to see clearly with visually all the things she needs in order to achieve her goal. Okay, she could be more focused and or be more organized in order to, and she can use folders to make everything more clear for her, and everything will be more focused in one place. Okay, and then she uses less writing and more listening and focusing. Okay, another thing is okay, she has a strength, she needs to get rewards. It also activates her so she can use the phone, which is already in the okay, for initiation, she can program the alarm in order to start and finish an assignment. We also used a Pomodoro technique, which allows to make times like 25 minutes work and then recess. Okay, it allows to be more focused, to divide one assignment into small units and to manage your time better.
Ilana, דקה אחרונה.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to switch into Hebrew, sorry. התוכנית בעצם מאפשרת אחריות ועצמאות, לממש את עצמך. זה נותן מסוגלות ומעלה מאוד את המוטיבציה. התובנות שלי מתוך זה, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. These are my conclusions from the whole project. Not the man is the issue, but the issue is the issue, okay, or the problem. It's very important to see the strength and not the disability, okay? Both applications give help to improve other executive functions. And I would really like for the end, in the future, that teachers will get the information. They will be more aware of that, and so they can use it much better. Thank you very much. Thank you for Betty for helping me and inspiring me.
Again, you can't hear me. So we will switch now to the last presentation of this session by Ayelet Berenholz from Hadassah Academic College in Jerusalem. Ayelet will talk on self-reflecting writing for improving medical laboratory science students' internship. Go ahead, Ayelet.
Hi, can you see my presentation?
Yeah, very, very well.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So I'm really happy to be here. It's a different concept of a conference, but it's definitely interesting. So I'm Ayelet Berenholz. I teach microbiology at Hadassah Medical College, and I am in charge of the internship program of the medical laboratory science students internship. And I will talk about that a little bit. So a little bit of background. I'm sure that now in the Corona age, you've all heard about medical laboratory science workers, which have a very, very important job now. And we try to give them the best training we can. We have about 100 students each year finishing the program. And as you hear, they're definitely necessary now in the field. And in order to finish their training, they need to complete an internship of 320 hours in medical laboratories that are approved by the Ministry of Health. And it can be different, various laboratories. And I must say that most of the students perform it very successfully, and we receive praises, and a lot of them continue working in these laboratories. But there's a but. I am in charge of the program in the last 4 years, and I saw that I was receiving complaints from the supervisors. And when I summed up the complaint, I found that most of the complaints were focusing mostly on personal conduct of the students, as arriving late, excessive phone use, etc. And only the minority were related to their professional skills. So I set goals for the program, for the students' internship, and my goals were first to improve their behavior, improve their self-awareness. I wanted to improve the supervisor's assessment, and I hope to optimize the efficacy of the internship and to maintain a long-term relationship with the laboratories as we send their students year by year, and that is obviously very important. So I chose a tool of reflective writing. I'll talk a little bit about reflective writing. Reflective writing promotes reflective thinking, and in the academic context, it is looking back at something, an event, an idea, or an object, analyzing it, thinking carefully about it, and it should be an ongoing process, which is, of course, of the practicing professional, or in this case, our students. Reflective writing is more personal than other academic writing, as it reveals anxieties, errors, and weaknesses, as well as strengths and success. And it is important to select the most significant parts of the idea. It is important both to reflect forward and backwards, and you will see that I used both reflecting forward and backward in the students' internship. So what did I do? I chose to give the student 3 questionnaires throughout their internship. The first one was sent to them pre-internship, about 2 weeks before they started the internship. The idea was to see if they are ready, if they know which laboratory they're going to, what are the professional characteristics of the laboratory, etc. The second reflection questionnaires, which I will soon talk about a little bit more, was given to the students about 2 weeks after they started their internship, and it was reflecting both forward and back. And it already included questions regarding their social conduct, professional conduct, and ways of self-improvement. The third questionnaires, which I will also talk about a little bit more, was after they ended the internship. And it also included similar questions to the second one, but this form was identical to the evaluation form that the supervisors filled, and I'll talk about it in a little while. So, as I said, I will talk a little bit about the second reflection questionnaire. First of all, I'll say again, I have 100 students that are doing their internship at the same time, and I have to be in contact with all of them. That was a way for me to send personal email after they filled the second questionnaire. But more important, if I found that there were problems, I contacted either the students or the head of the laboratory, and that was a mean for intervention, either by phone or by meeting when we were still meeting in person. And in some of the cases, you can see one student, I changed their laboratory of internship. 2 other students, I decided to terminate the internship, but now they're performing their second internship. But it is usually better than dragging problems till the end of the internship. And I found the second reflection questionnaire very, very important. The last reflection questionnaire, I'll remind you, was given at the end of the internship, and the questions were identical to those of the supervisor. You can see here the questions, and I won't go over them, but you can see they regard personal conduct, professional conduct, social conduct. And I analyzed these questionnaires, comparing each student's answers to each supervisor's answers. And I categorized 3 groups. I found that most of the students, you can see here, had self-assessment in congruence with the supervisors, almost 50%, which I was very glad to see. But there were 2 more problematic groups, a smaller group of about 22% that were what I called underestimators. They received very high evaluation, but gave themselves a relatively very low evaluation. And the third group, which is the most problematic one, which I called self-overesteemers, of about 30% of the students, they gave themselves a very high evaluation, which was not seen eye to eye with the supervisor, which gave them very low evaluation. These were the most problematic students. So as I found these 3 groups, I suggest it is important to consider a post-internship intervention, especially with the 2 marginal group. For the underestimators, I think it is important for our students to realize their real capabilities and send them out to the world with what they really are able to do. And the overestimators, of course, it is important for them to realize what are their real capabilities. And some of these students had to repeat their internship and are performing now and again now, and that is, of course, problematic. So I'll comment again to the second reflection questionnaire, which I remind you enabled intervention in the middle, and I found that very, very important. And the
איילת, סליחה, עוד דקה וחצי בערך.
Okay, בסדר גמור. On the whole, I found that most of the students were self-aware of themselves, which I was very glad to find. In general, I found that there were fewer complaints from the head of laboratories and more commendation this year. if I compare to previous year, and that was an excellent result. I plan to continue and expand this work of self-reflective writing. And I hope also to do some research and compare the different groups I work with. I work with ultra-Orthodox versus non-ultra-Orthodox, male and female, and etc. And I hope to collaborate with other departments in which students perform internship. And I wanted to say thank you, first of all, to all the laboratories and laboratory manager for their hard work in training our students. Dr. Rachel Eichler, who's here with us today, listening, she actually introduced me to the reflective writing. So thank you and helped me with this presentation. To the ASSET project, who introduced me to soft skills, which is, I am a microbiologist, soft skills do not come natural. And to you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ayelet, and everybody. So now we have about 10 minutes if you have questions. And before that, I would like to say that we heard 3 presentations, project, research, that deal with the experiences of coping with difficulties. The first and the second, there were difficulties with writing. And the third one, writing was maybe a tool to cope with difficulties with the tutors, with the supervisor. So now you may ask the presenters questions that you would like to ask.
Can I ask in the microphone?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
יניב, can you open for everybody? יניב, אתה יכול לפתוח?
כן,
יניב,
בטח.
אתה פה? אוקיי.
I wanted to ask Ilana and Betty about what they did with the digital writing. Did you try it also with other students, or it was just the one case till now?
It was only one case. But I'm using it, part of this program, I'm using it during the year with students in different parts. And I have to admit that I'm very surprised of how it works. It works. It makes a difference. Even yesterday, I just told it that I'm going to present in the conference about all kinds of things that are taken from the program. And they said, okay, we would like to come and just tell everyone how much good it is. So I think this is the best proof that it works.
So you use it in class now with the high school students?
Yeah, with dyslexic pupils, those with ADHD. But again, different parts, not as a program, but now they have.
Are they students in a regular class that have ADHD, or is it a special class?
It's a special class with ADHD, and again, all kinds of
other stuff. Yes.
Problems.
Yes.
But it's I don't know how to say, it's a special class omets. I don't know how to say it in English. Most of them
איך זה בהשוואה למב"ר או מב"ט? כאילו, מה זה אומר אומץ?
יותר בעיות של קשב וריכוז.
אומץ.
הם מותרים they're special education students?
No.
No, they are not.
Okay.
Important to say that the project is the end of the way. All the way was to collect data about all the way this project. All the way to this project was to collect data about executive function. This is what it's about. It's about the executive functions, to collect data about Yoli, the student. So about half or more of this project was to collect the data and understand what her executive function difficulties, and then was to adapt a new program for her, especially for her. But Evernote is a very effective tool, an assistive technology tool for many students, and I think for all of us, for all the people, because it really included a lot of actions inside it.
אוקיי, תודה. זה נשמע מאוד מעניין.
תודה.
Ayelet, I wanted to ask you, how did the students react to the writing itself?
Okay, that was interesting. I found that the first questionnaire, they didn't take seriously. They didn't do it properly, and that's why I couldn't do much with the first questionnaire in the beginning. Like, you saw that they wrote just, you know, because they had to, not because they really, but I think from the second questionnaire, as they were all on their own in the laboratory, and they had suddenly, the second questionnaire was qualitative, it was free writing. I gave them like a big place for free writing to write about different aspects of how they're doing and how the lab relates to them, which is also very important. And from that point, I found that most of the students took it seriously. Another thing I wanted to do that I didn't do in the talk is I'll look into how they filled the second form to compare to the last evaluation, like to see if people who took it more seriously and really wrote, but it's more complicated to analyze it because it's qualitative and not quantitative. The advantage of the last form, it was qualitative because the questions to the head of laboratories. So I'll say that I think at the end of the process, about 70% of the students took it seriously, and it's a process. But in the beginning, none of them took it seriously. Okay. Maybe one or two.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll end here. And you are invited to go to a small tour in Israel. And thank you all. And see you in the other sessions.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.